Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, or should I say Campaign Guardians? Either way, we're
Comrades,
reporting to
Guardians of the Comradaxy.
we're reporting to our
Comrades of the
superior
Galaxy.
comrade Cosmo the Cosmonaut.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. The
Uh,
comrade.
Dude, I think you might even remember I was playing the game before everyone, and I
mhm.
texted, I think you directly, Ben,
Yeah,
about Cosmo being best boy.
best girl by the way. I believe
But
Cosmo's a lady, isn't she? Isn't
boy isn't inclusive when
I don't
discussing
know.
animal.
That is true.
When using the I at the end
Yeah,
instead of Y.
it's like a cat is just a little baby all the time.
I don't know that they've
Just like the
gendered
inclusive
Cosmo.
dude.
I think Cosmo is female in the comics, but actually now that I say that, I think they might have Cosmo be male.
Because he has babies,
There's a
but
bunch of yeah, there's a bunch of yeah,
but
little Cosmo space pups.
The
Who voice? It's a male voice though, I
Yeah,
think.
that's what I'm like. I
it
was
is a
like
male golden retriever.
as my brain is trying to remember all this from
I
I was
don't
just
remember
looking
if
at
he shows dong or not.
I was just looking at
Jesus
my
Christ.
I was just looking at my Steam thing. I played this 2 years ago.
Um, so Leica, who
Okay.
Cosmo is
Oh,
based off of,
was
was a
yeah,
male.
Leica was a female, but no, actually, I'm
Yeah,
looking at this stuff now
so
that says
Cosmo's a
male.
male.
I was incorrect. I could have sworn that Cosmo was.
You tried to woke wash me.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
apologize, but
You,
yeah.
you were gaslighting him.
Either way, Cosmo is a worker, so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just the best. That's the best gender neutral way to approach it. Best superpowered doggo there is for sure. Yeah, folks, we're talking about 2021's Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. We were, when planning out like our slate of episodes for basically the back half of the year, we're just trying to find in between games that we know that a bunch of us would have to play. We were focusing on games that we all have basically played already and should speak to, I think, the quality of this game is that we each
Yeah, no one had to be forced to play this
yeah,
game.
yeah,
Mhm.
and nobody had to catch up on it. We had all played this on our own of our own volition quite a while ago at this point. Matt was, as usual, the first adopter. And
Dude,
Definitely
I'm
the
not
second.
scared off by the fears of people who are like, dude, it's got the same type of titling as Marvel's The Avengers. It's gonna
So
be the exact
Yeah,
same.
I mean,
dog
those
shit.
fears were somewhat warranted because it's not just that naming convention that should have worried them. It's from the same studio, same publisher, same
That's
overall
that's xenophobic.
deal. Oh, we can be xenophobic against the French Canadians. That's allowed. And say the Eidos
Always.
Montreal, yeah,
Fuck 'em.
is fucking French Canadian bastards.
so
Just play not like us and, fuck
Mhm.
off.
but I am curious, Matt. What because you played this pretty much at release. So
Yep.
what inspired you to
Did
dive in?
you
Because like
did you get
you're
it free with your computer like I did?
No, I bought it on
Okay.
PS5.
Okay, I got it free with my
What
computer.
inspired me?
yeah, like what made you jump into this one? Because there's games that you're really excited about that you'll even wait to play upon release. Like so, I'm
I mean,
curious.
you have to throw some asterisks in there then because I also played Forspoken at release
True,
and didn't
true.
just play it. I beat it 100%.
That
Yeah,
you did.
for Matt, it's like I don't necessarily know that that he ever
I give
has the
Square a lot
urge.
of trust.
It's mainly, but it's also mainly it's
Timing.
right time, right place type thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
if he didn't have
that's
something else,
fair.
if he didn't have
Exactly.
something else
That's what I
running
was
at the
thinking.
time, then be like, oh yeah, then he would
And
jump into
this
it.
was in like a low point where there wasn't much for the PS5 and
So this was October
It was a good
2021,
quality.
and
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank basically was like the only
yeah,
good thing at the time.
I mean,
yeah,
at that
Miles
point in time, I'd
Morales.
played Demon Souls 2,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
and
yeah, because the
Returnal.
launch titles basically.
True. Fair
And it
point.
basic,
Fair point.
I will
Yeah,
be so
I mean,
mad if you ever try to get us to play Return. For some reason, I just do not want to play that game.
I'm fine with getting in that camp.
I
with you,
don't
Ben.
like roguelikes. I don't enjoy them, and to try to make me do it.
I will say it's fun. Like the
spooky,
gameplay's
scary,
fun.
yeah, no, the gameplay loop is sick once you find a gun that you like.
Yeah.
spooky, scary roguelike. No, thank you.
But it's spooky, scary in the right way that makes you like existentially dread your future.
No, I do that already.
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't need a
normal
game to
daily
do that for
occurrence.
me.
All right, yeah, back to
my greatest battle already. I don't need to put it into video games.
Yeah, but if you can defeat it in video games, you can defeat it in real life.
If only I leveled up the same way.
Yeah.
If only I
Dude, you
had.
don't- Wait, are you telling me when you go to bed, a menu doesn't pop up before you go to sleep? Oh my.
What stats? What's my dump
Right.
stat in real life?
You need to take a pretty strong sedative to get to that menu, from what I hear.
Your sleep paralysis demon is just Melina. All right, so Guardians of the Galaxy, folks. What? Yeah, you guys pull. So Matt
I
played
just
it on
wanna start it
PlayStation. You played
off
it on
though.
PlayStation, right, Andrew?
Yeah, I played PlayStation. This game did not get a fair shake.
Oh, absolutely not.
Mhm.
This game is partially why I played Forspoken, because I was like, nah, people didn't give Guardians a fair shake and it was good. Forspoken might be a little cringy, but it'll be fine. And it was fine. It was fine. It was just fine.
Definitely not worth 100%ing fine. So I don't know why you punish yourself.
I mean, the
that way.
100% was easy, was the thing. It was like once it was that close, I haven't gone back to do the DLC. I distinctly deleted that game off my hard drive. That's how I think about it.
Say, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That says a lot. Yeah, he has
Yeah.
no intention of going back for the DLC.
Yeah.
That will not be a future podcast episode.
Best Buy keeps trying to get me to buy it when it's on sale for $15.
Oof. And that's usually my sweet spot, right? It's like 15 or less.
I mean,
and you've
For
got me
$15,
interested.
it's got an interesting combat system.
I don't know. I played the demo of it and it was just like, wow, this kind of is boring.
I remember.
The demo doesn't give you the fun stuff.
Yeah, but like from what I've read is that you don't get the fun stuff until like
Till the end.
halfway or later through the game. That you're just
Isn't
like
that how most games work?
You're just shooting
Yeah.
rock stuff. I mean, usually there's progression, but there's something that's fun in each one.
You're
of
just
them.
shooting rocks. Visions of gravity. What was the rock sling?
Hey, I did other things. I learned to do other things on my first run. But yes, Rocksling was a constant companion.
Same.
In my
So-
first ever run. But yeah, no, absolutely. This game did not get the fair shake, and it's something I wanted to bring up from the start. Is this is like one of the exemplars of the Square's self-reported did not meet our financial expectations. type of
Nothing
things.
ever meets Square's financial
It
expectations.
seems to be every game.
Yeah, it's like does that
It's a
speak to the
meme
quality
literally
of
going
this
back
game
to like 2014.
or does this speak to the quality of the game or the unreasonableness of Square's
Someone
financial
posted a
expectations?
compilation of like 40 something. This game did not meet our financial expectations going back to 2014.
So it's an interesting bit though, right? That this is maybe a game where maybe the expectation is slightly unreasonable, but you kind of understand why when you like kind of look at the circumstances of we are probably this like was announced in 2017. Don't exactly know how long production took, but like
So the announced time was at a decent spot in the Marvel hype cycle. Like you were still in the upward swing of the build up to
right. So
Endgame and Infinity
so that goes
War.
into the one part of it where that means like that imagine how much money that they've had to pay for licensing.
And we know how
as
much
part of the
because we see how
licensing
much
agreement.
that Insomniac has to pay for Spider-Man,
And it's a lot.
Mr. Spiderman.
And like that's like just in the area of when production budgets are starting to balloon into kind of outrageous sums. So like that is something that maybe could have been under their control if you properly. I think the game is scoped well, so like I don't necessarily know what they would have done to potentially cut costs that way. But like with the added bit of the, the what they got to pay to the mouse, to that accursed mouse man.
Well, I don't know if the mouse owns the video game licensing of Marvel.
Who would just? I mean,
'Cause
they own they own
they own
whatever
Marvel as a cinematic, and TV property. They don't
I think
own
they
it
own
as-
Marvel as an everything.
Yeah, I think they just
property.
own it
Yeah.
They
outright.
They don't necessarily have.
Because
to.
don't they have like Marvel like in their like Disney World and shit? Like, isn't Marvel a cornerstone of?
So it's like So it's like who
Yeah, but
owns Marvel?
the way the
games?
property rights work is it's a bundle of sticks, as you learn.
Well, yeah, I know, because like
but-
the Lord of
but
the
I
Rings
feel
movie
like the
rights, the video game rights are
one-
different.
they may not. Video games might not be.
It's
part of
owned by Disney.
I'm
It
pretty
is-
sure
it's,
they own.
It's
it.
Marvel Games is the overall licensing and publishing brand for video games, owned by Disney Interactive.
Okay,
Parent
I just
company is
wasn't
Disney
sure.
Interactive.
It's just a different mouse.
But so one thing I wanted to say about the the bad rap that this got, and Matt kind of brought it up earlier, is it's coming off the tail of Marvel's Avengers, which was still tanking at that point. They were still trying.
That's a good point. It wasn't dead yet. It was
Wasn't
still
dead yet.
actively dying.
It was still
Yeah.
actively dying,
The,
and they were
the
trying
the
everything
video
they
game
could.
Marvel's Avengers didn't do well. You were in the active decline of the MCU's like popularity at the. This is when there was the holes started to show, because that's like, is that Doctor Strange? Or
You
it was
said
like,
when
"Ooh,
when it
that's your
released,
CGI
2021.
budget."
Yeah,
Yeah,
roughly
Doc-
around then.
No, I think Doctor Strange 2 might have been shortly after
it was
this.
after it.
But,
That was the Shang-Chi,
yeah.
Wakanda Forever,
Eternals.
Returnals. I will never call it by
Returnals.
Black Widow, which
Yep.
is I think.
Oh, God.
And yeah, no.
Yeah.
Doctor
Only
Strange
one
was
that I've seen, I
2022. Was 2022.
Okay.
But yeah, like
You're in the active part of the decline
The
of like
dirt.
Marvel's like zeitgeist hold.
Yep.
and we see them trying to claw that back now, making Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom,
Oh,
having him
dude.
play T'Challa.
Dude, it's so bad. I mean, yeah, those were the only good things that have come out of it, are like the memes of who he's going to play next.
Being
And so it's just-
everyone.
yeah, so it's just like him from Tropic Thunder as
That's the one that I saw
playing
first, and then I
T'Challa.
saw one with him like playing a bunch of different like.
It's going to turn into like the Eddie Murphy things where
Yes.
where he's playing every single
Well, I mean,
character.
have you seen the rumored how much money he's making for this one
A
movie?
stupid amount.
No,
I have not
didn't
looked at
tell
it,
me,
but it's
please.
probably an absolute
More than
absurd
80
amount.
million is
Really?
Yeah, it was the
yeah.
thing I saw was
Holy
like 80
shit.
to 100 depending on
being
like
paid more than the Russo brothers, and we know the Russo brothers are being paid 80 million.
And like for one, is
Disney
that for
can't pay
one
actors
movie?
living wages, guys. They can't pay Grips living wages. It's too expensive. Their demands are insane.
But hey, I out of all of
How
that,
is a
though,
man to live if he
res-
cannot
I
have his 80
respect-
plus million?
I respect RDJ getting the bag. for
Oh,
that,
I do
you
too,
know,
Yeah.
for sure.
Same.
He
Oh,
fucking took them to the bank. He's like,
Yeah.
he put them on a leash and was like, "You want me back?
Yeah,
Here's what we're gonna do."
They were wearing the gimp suit.
They were like, Doolittle didn't do that well though, and he's like, did it though?
Yes.
Did it though?
I've seen also funny memes of people being like Kevin Feige being like, "Get me the guy from Oppenheimer for Doctor Doom." Because everybody was like, "Oh, they wanted Cillian Murphy as Doctor Doom," but like,
Yeah, you got me the wrong guy.
Get me that guy from Oppenheimer.
Oops.
Talk
So
about
what do you-
anything but the Guardians of the Galaxy.
But
game.
speaking of the movies, though, this is a decidedly it's a unique take on these characters, right? It is
Yeah,
like
I liked that it wasn't trying to ape
there
the
is like a
MCU
certain
version.
there is like a certain aesthetic tie over, but also like in a very general sense, and like
Yeah,
there's
just of the property in general, really.
yeah, there's some character traits that are brought over
Familiar from
from
the
the
movies.
familiar from the movies, but like
Yeah,
these
but
are kind
it's
of a
this Star Lord isn't Chris Pratt.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is more distinctly its own kind of take
This Rocket
on these
Raccoon is not
characters.
Bradley Cooper.
Right, and well, like there's even a different lore with Thanos and what's happened. Like
Yeah.
this is it's, and I believe this is an entirely
Completely
original
isolated.
story. It's not even a comic book adaptation. I think this is like
I think
its
I think it's
own
a
thing.
mashup of a bunch of things with its own twist at the end.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, I don't remember if like the kind of framing device around the majority of the plot is this intergalactic war that is
Intergalactic Crown War.
probably based off of a fight with Thanos, like with his forces.
No, it could
And it's
definitely be a fight with Kang the Conqueror.
is the aftermath of all that. But they
That's
definitely are.
also
They're definitely pulling more from comics as well. Like you see that with my favorite character, and I'll give you three guesses to understand why she's my favorite character. But Lady Hellbender.
Mm.
Yep. It's because she has great character depth.
uppies,
Um,
uppies.
Say ding ding ding, we have a winner. Yeah, dude, muscle mommy galore. Oh my god. Like I feel seen by Drax, who's just getting dominated by Lady Hellbender
Another
throughout
favorite character.
throughout the
Just
course of this. And yeah, this is funny, like, uh people are all like oh, we're tired of like every sci-fi thing's got to have, like the Guardians-esque appeal, or like the characterization. So like the Star Lord and the Drax knockoffs in the Concord game, that's going to be an absolute fiasco. But like,
dude, it's gonna do more billions. It's gonna sell more
gangbusters.
billions
More
of copies.
billions.
but like, yeah, I don't know if this was just like again at the right time, or it's just like, yeah, you don't get that feeling when it is like the character that everybody's trying to ape from, right? But yeah, like Drax is definitely a standout for the
He's
kind of.
definitely more of his comic character and less of Dave Bautista.
I like Dave Bautista.
And-
Yes, it's not a problem with Dave Bautista. It's that
Why are you
Drax
saying it like
Drax
that?
the Destroyer.
Batista.
How do you, nah, it's
But-
Batista.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, Matt, because I actually had seen that of all of the voice actors, the one that played Drax was the only one who, like, purposely and previously had seen the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy movies and like
was trying
did
to
actually try to include some of Batista's framing of Drax in his portrayal of the character as well. So that's
Yeah,
interesting that you felt that way.
he's like
It's more or less the story's portrayal of him, and less the character's portrayal. Like the story doesn't play him off to be more of a comedy the entire time. He has
well, there's
That's fair.
there's a whole part of the plot where they go into his like distorted desires and dream world, and going through the tragedy of his character. But yeah, he is like, I mean, all these characters are trying to crack jokes all the time, and for the most part, why this game really is successful is because the writing is very good and is better
Yeah.
than any Marvel movie,
Yes.
that has ever happened. Um, but like,
I truly think that's a fair statement though. And that's what like kind of drives me crazy about how this game got received. Is like
it's what's a testament to that is like how the story itself is probably like, the bare bones of the plot is probably it's not really anything groundbreaking, but it's just the characters are so well written that the relationships feel kind of earned, and real to a sense that really kind of just sells the game world that we're presented here. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really explain it well before, I don't think, but like, yeah, Drax is like, he still has that like it's the kind of the dry
Literalism.
literalism. Yeah, it's like that has no conception of sarcasm. The whole thing can't actively make a joke, and is therefore 10 times funnier than
Yep.
the characters
Yeah,
who are
haha.
trying to make a joke.
Laugh at the autist who
Yeah.
can't pick up social cues.
Yeah. But the core of the plot of this story revolves around this character. I think her name is Nicole, right? Nikki
Yeah.
something. This young she's from she's Cree, I guess, because
Yep.
her mother is,
Well, we're not certain what exactly
well, she's
she is.
Novacore. She's Novacore, but also is a Cree, which is a little odd because I'm pretty sure the Novacore and the Cree are enemies. But yeah, she's like presented as Corell's, is this Novacore Centurion Corell as her daughter, and is this Corell is a former lover of Peter Quill. So like the insinuation is that this is Peter's bastard child, and there's
I love being presented the Star-Lord that we know is really there. The
the
infidelity.
deadbeat dad.
Yeah. I mean,
The
deadbeat
pussy
dads
hound.
create deadbeat dads.
Yeah, I was gonna
so
say apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
And we got a lot of like this, a lot of other characters that we obviously see in the movies. We've got Mantis, Adam Warlock.
Toboggan.
What was that one?
I said Mantis Toboggan.
The Celestial Madonna
Yep.
is what she's referred to as. I think a more interesting take on that character than you get in the movies.
yes.
Yeah.
She's like not actually part of the Guardians, but like is just this kind of larger figure that aids them and is also very kind of weird and mysterious. And then Adam Warlock is a standout. His alliteration speak is beautiful.
A far better representation than what the MCU has presented for Adam Warlock.
I can't make comment on that one because that I have not watched that yet. Whenever Matt comes down some other time,
That'll be our next.
That's one we need to watch.
You haven't seen the third one?
Well, I don't actively watch Marvel movies unless it's with Matt. We usually will watch one of the trash Marvel movies of late at various times.
But
no, I don't.
No, I'm
watch
just surprised. That one's been out a while.
Yes, of course. There's a lot that have been out a while and I have not watched. Like we talked about Black Widow and Wakanda Forever. I haven't watched those.
I have seen Black Widow.
I have not. I've only seen clips
for reasons.
I've only seen clips of those of the horrible CGI.
I've seen the bad CGI.
I watched for other reasons.
We know this.
My girl Florence.
Mike loves movies because they're easy to watch one-handed.
But I enjoy the actor who plays Adam Warlock. Good. What's his face?
Yeah,
Eustace.
Yeah, Eustace, the eyebrow guy from Maze Runner.
And the guy that had his penis bit by a tarantula.
Wow.
And
you go to Maze Runner, I go to We're the Millers.
Yeah, I was saying We're the Millers. Like I was just making a reference to that. But I do. That was the first introduction to him was as Eustace in Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Eustace.
And then I think I watched the first Maze Runner movie, but no, the actual like the cementing of him as a good actor was from We're the Millers. It's a funny movie.
Great movie.
Underappreciated.
That's made by the guy who directed and wrote Dodgeball, which I learned recently.
Interesting. Huh. Why it's such a good movie.
So the man has written some bomb comedies that dominate my life.
Will Poulter is the actor.
Like I know the actor's name. I don't know why I'm blanking on it.
I felt like he was a Mick something, like a McPherson.
Nah,
He just looks like one.
So
you
yeah,
just wanted to say Mick.
I do want to. I do want to. That is one that I do want to see. But yeah, so I can't comment on the movie representation of Adam Warlock, but this one is good. And yeah, the core of the plot revolves basically around the two characters, Nikki Gold, the suspected daughter of Star Lord and Co-Rel,
Corel.
but then Adam Warlock is like the actual driver, and it's like the bookended stuff. The mission that starts off the whole thing is they've gone into this quarantine zone for a mission to find some things, but they accidentally, it's basically spoilers, they discover the soul stone, infinity stone, and release some entity from within it, and it's like the evil version of Adam Warlock who like possesses
The Maker.
who possesses the kid Nikki and creates this like weird like cult religion thing around them that like has these mind
Yeah,
control
who
powers and
amongst us hasn't done this? I mean,
hasn't
like,
created a false religion where we promise
yeah,
everybody's most deepest hopes and
false seem
desires.
pretty real to me.
I mean, when it's all in your head, everything's real.
Oh,
But the,
is that how I get out of these psychiatrist meetings?
and by get out of there, it means being forcibly admitted to the
Yeah.
psych ward. But yeah, Adam Warlock is like, yeah, he's got to like absorb his evil self and then can't handle it, and they re-imprison it in the Soul Stone, and he then becomes the keeper of the Soul Stone. And yeah, he's got his, yeah. We're not going to go through the plot of this game, but like, I do find that this remains an underappreciated gem that, we're nowhere near the first people to say this. Every basically creator or reviewer out there would be like, no, this game is actually good. You need to
I think
play
the
it.
thing that makes it interesting is like right when the combat starts to get a little old, they add something new that like
I was going to
changes
say
it.
where I can divert from even the positive reviewers is like they're like, yeah, the combat is weak. I'd be like, no, I'm enlightened. I think it's good. The one bit concession I'll make is that like, yeah, Star Lord's guns are pea shooters.
Yeah.
Like they do no damage,
Mhm.
but that's like not the point. It's like the whole point is more like the opening opportunities, whether that's through his elemental
Yeah,
affinity
or teammate
damage
calls.
or the teammate calls, or like, he's got his own moves that do things to set up and stagger and that kind of stuff. But like learning how to combo the the rest of the Guardian moves together is really fun and satisfying. Like to have like Rocket throw in a gravity grenade that like sucks everybody together, and then Groot
A growth
a thing
spike.
that launches them up or binds them together, and then Drax comes down and with a ground pound slam thing, and obliterates everybody. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool.
the the combat actually in a way to me is similar to Final Fantasy 16 in that you're essentially just building up to these larger
Yeah,
combos and using those in the right
it's
patterns.
cooldowns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just with more
it's
like team options than 16 has.
yeah.
More like seven's team
Yeah, but
options
I
for
never felt a
16's
bond bigger
combo.
than with anyone with Torgal. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Torgal's all I need.
The goodest boy.
Torgal versus Cosmo, who wins?
I don't know.
Torgal.
Like, I don't know. Torgal. I mean, I don't, yeah,
Torgal's a god.
that's actually a tough one. Yet Torgal is somewhat godlike, and yet Cosmo has mind powers. Interesting.
We don't know the full extent of
The
Torgal's
real
powers.
winner is
Never
Cosmo
to see.
because Cosmo becomes friends with Torgal and they run around and become
They
Well, yeah,
combine their powers.
Cosmo teaches
Torgmos.
Torgal the power of speech, and yeah, they converse. I I even find like the people are like, oh, I don't like the traversal bits either. Like, like that they're just, you're funneled down linear corridor type things. And it's like, yeah, but they all look fucking amazing. They
Yeah.
all look gorgeous. Like, and
They,
they
they
don't
look good,
open
and I
world
never felt
everything.
like I was being forced because the
No.
areas felt open-ish enough.
Yeah, and like
Yeah, I got
I'm
lost.
I'm not someone to be against linear game or level design at all.
Yeah.
And
No, but like even just like the way the environment was designed, it was like, oh look, that is the only place to go. But like there are like theoretically other places here.
And
So
there's
it
not like
gives you the illusion that there's other.
and there's
Well,
like
and there was
there are
stuff that,
environmental puzzles too with
yeah,
using each of your like skills.
those aren't complicated. Those are
No.
not to the point where I would call them puzzles, but it's just more like it's
I don't
just
know,
ways to
puzzling to
engage
me sometimes.
engage with just the different
Yeah.
mechanics.
I
And it's
mean,
like I
it was
found
very
it's the same
Final
level.
Fantasy VII remake.
It's the same way that I feel about the combat is that I found the pacing and the scope of all these things to be like they really just hit the just right level. Like you're never walking in some direction. Just you're not. It's not a walking sim. You're not just walking down a linear hallway the whole time.
And
There's
if you
either
are the people are talking.
something to
Yeah.
interact. I was just about to say there's either something to interact with or there's like a dialogue choice to make, which will have at least some impact on how the rest of it progresses. Who did you guys attempt to sell to Lady Hellbender? Rocket or Groot?
Rocket.
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 Always Rocket.
What about you, Matt?
I was about to say, I see I'm the only person who sold Groot.
How dare you?
No,
How
Groot would
fucking dare
is
you?
probably the better choice because he probably would just do it willingly and
Yeah.
gladly and have no problem. And you'd still get shit from Rocket
Yeah, but that's
for
fun.
doing it. That's why,
My
that's why
reasoning was that I need Rocket's brains on the outside.
I did the bit where you throw Rocket and he gets really
Yep.
mad at you.
Yep, me too.
He
Oh
gets
yeah.
really
I
pissed.
like that one.
Like that one's great because it's like he holds that grudge till like really late in the
Yeah.
game.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, to an extent, you know that's happened so many times before that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like as a small member of the party, there comes a point where it's like, could you please respect my bodily autonomy and stop
No,
using
Drax,
me
throw
as
him.
Stop using me as a rag doll.
stop using me as like a cornhole sandbag.
No, so Ben, I did look up like because there's about I don't know, there's about an opportunity per chapter in this game to make a decision that has like varying degrees of
I've
change to
done
the
all the
story.
decision choices.
You have? Okay.
Nothing changes the ending, but like
No.
story does change.
No. Nothing changes the
how you
ending.
get there.
But that one, yes, if you choose to go with Groot, the whole thing goes like much better and you get like more money and
Yep.
it's not a disaster. So yeah, Groot's the right choice.
Well, he's the objective choice, but in terms of the canonical choice, I think Rocket is the
Yeah.
correct
no.
one. That's the more story appropriate one, and the
He's
one
an
that
actual monster.
and the one
Yeah.
and the one that the actual Guardians would choose, and that's in that stage of their relationship because at the early part of the game, like they like don't have the kind of the team bond that we kind of know at this point or like that we would expect coming from the movies, right? Like they've like maybe done like a couple missions together, like they've like just kind of received the moniker of Guardians of the Galaxy that they talk about somewhere was like just like a marketing.
Yeah, it's
It was a
marketing.
it was a
Yeah.
marketing thing. Because they're mercs for hire and they don't fully trust each other. They don't like they don't know each other's backstories. That's something that unfolds throughout this game. And despite only playing as Peter Quill as Star Lord, um, I felt
you
like
get a lot of interaction with the team.
yeah, I felt like you I
You
felt
get
like
you get a lot of control over that too, because you
it,
get a lot of chances to walk around the ship to talk to people.
yeah, and there's a lot of like each chapter then like has a progressive thing where like each one of them is working through their own issues, right? So it's the ones that stand out are Drax and Rocket.
Yes.
I don't quite remember what happens with Gamora. And I don't really know that Groot has trauma that he can articulate. Um so I don't know.
Yeah,
They may have glossed over that one.
they do. There's not much on
This man
Groot.
can't communicate with me properly, so his trauma doesn't matter.
Although I did find this to be pretty fantastic, which is they had the Groot voice actor record like over 1,500 different line reads of I am Groot and had
Amazing.
translations for all of them as to like what he's conveying while saying I am
Yeah,
Groot.
dude.
Pretty sure they do
You
that
know
for the
what? It
movies
probably
too.
took him like
They
2
do,
hours.
they do.
Yeah.
They were probably like, "Yo, I am Groot. I am Groot. Just keep reading them." You know.
But I just love that.
They maximize that
Stat.
studio time.
And then no, but I totally agree with you, Ben. Rocket and Drax, and Peter too, I think, are the
Sure.
three like narrative standouts. And I think this game tells their backstories in a much more compelling way than the movies do. Because the movies do the first one or the second one obviously kind of covers Peter pretty fulsomely in his background. The third one covers Rocket a lot, and Drax we get kind of throughout. But this game does a much better job of
But see, you only get in the
laying
movies.
these
You only get
backstories.
Drax through exposition.
Exposition,
Whereas, like even Gamora, like through the more extended stuff and stuff with Thanos,
Yeah.
you get more direct
right.
things and interactions
You
with
get the
with
iconic
Nebula
fucking
and all
balanced
that.
with
Yeah,
the knife scene with
yeah.
Child Gamora.
What was it worth, or what did it cost? Everything, all that shit. Yeah. So like yeah, like so yeah, Drax I think is definitely the most well served in this one, and I think was most in need of it. So that was welcome to make him the more kind of plot centric one of like his is the basically I'm playing Persona right now, so it's like they literally have to go into his palace.
Yeah. They have to change his soul.
His heart and his desire have been distorted by the mega mind will thing, whatever it's called. And yeah, so you get a lot of actual insight into his character and his motivation.
That was like actually a kind of like terrifying little twist when he takes like abducts the ship and you wake up to him like landing and you have to interact with him that first time. Like imagine that like horror movie-esque, like your Hulk friend is now brain zorped and you've got to interact with him in a way that doesn't result in your body being disassembled.
Yeah, so I thought this was like a really great, just kind of again linear adventure story that hits all the kind of the high points that I look for in pretty much most games. Is fun and engaging combat that does not get boring, even if it's like simple, it doesn't get boring, which is
It might have
harder to
gotten
do.
old if it was like an 100+ hour game.
Right. So it's like good. So the scope is good, but like well designed. The story is really good, and it's just compelling on pretty much every front that you really want. But that's just again, I want more games of this length and this scope, right? Like I
Want
enjoy
games with
my
worse graphics that cost
let's say this is a game with some insane graphics, particularly for that
yeah.
time point. Um, we're not fully at like even we've come a lot. GPUs have come even a long way in the 3 years since this came out. But like this was like definitely a standout for ray tracing, and it
Yeah, I remember
was
that being talked about even the ray tracing on it, and it may have even been like because I got the game free when I got my computer, got like a free download. It may have even been like NVIDIA advertising like the ray tracing capabilities and yada
Yeah,
yada.
usually the free game is like, ooh, look how shiny this
It's
looks
a-
on the
yeah,
GPU you just
yeah,
bought.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the type of game that they put on the box art for your GPU. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The music to
Dude,
this
I'm definitely
game.
buying. I'm definitely buying the GPU with Fortnite on the.
It doesn't have the Fortnite Fishman. We send it on.
What are you gonna buy a 1070 Ti?
But you were saying the music, yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
it's got a good licensed music thing. It was nominated for a Grammy for its soundtrack.
It's got a really cool streaming music mode that I think more games should adopt
Oh yeah, so you
if
can
you're
turn
going to
Oh
have
off
yeah, yeah.
license.
you can
Yeah,
turn off the
Right.
licensed games to stream it, yeah.
and it's got just like unlicensed music that it plays instead.
Yeah, which I also found this was another interesting thing about the development. They purposefully wrote the score to match the specific like beat and uh key that the song that is licensed uses for that portion of the game,
Oh,
which
cool.
I
So it
thought was
doesn't
really cool.
lose the.
So yeah, it keeps the
Okay, so
feel.
this is actually something I wanted to touch on, but forgot, but actually ties into the whole licensed music thing because it's in combat. It's often where the licensed music comes in. The
Mhm.
one bad part of the combat is the huddles, the team huddles,
Mm,
because it just nukes your momentum,
Yeah.
and it would have been so much better if it was like a pep talk given on the fly in combat, like yeah, maybe like combat kind of calms down a little bit so you can make a dialogue choice in it. But it literally just absolutely destroys, annihilates any pacing to the encounter to do this little cutscene thing that it's like a 50-50 shot if you choose, basically if you choose the right dialogue option to pump them up or not. And it was often some of the most kind of oblique choices to make, like where I'm just like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess here on which is good and which is gonna make them happy. And
And in those selections, we talked about this, I think, last episode, um, or at
Those
least some
definitely
point
have the
recently.
worst versions of the words don't mean the way
Yes,
he's going to
yes,
say it.
yes.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
was about to say. Is like
yeah,
it doesn't,
yeah,
and like you can't
Looking
tell the
at two
tone
options, it's
of
like
it
we're
every
going to do
time.
it, guys. We can do it, and like wow, it's hopeless.
Yeah,
And it's like you pick like we can do it. And it's like guys, I don't know if we can do it. I
yeah,
guess we can try though. And
yeah.
yeah.
then you
That
pick
was
Here's
and then
absolutely
you
what I
pick
that's
was
what I
it's
was
thinking
saying
of.
hopeless,
is
and it's hopeless unless we band together as brothers
Yeah,
and come through with the bloodlust of 1,000 suns.
it was that's what I was saying. It was truly just a coin flip if you chose the right one. So definitely the weakest part of any mechanic there, but and it's a shame because that's where the licensed music would come in. It's like he would like hit something on his tape deck and
yeah.
a licensed song would
If I
just
remember
start playing.
correctly, you can get rickrolled.
It is possible. It is possible, but it's like it's hard to do. It
That's
didn't happen to me,
hilarious.
but like it did not happen to me. But yeah, it's possible, but it's hard to do.
I did not get rickrolled. I wish I did. That's
I
hilarious.
mean,
I did not know
it's
that.
of the era.
It is
Yeah.
100%.
Imagine if they were movie or if they were real accurate and Star Lord was just a big um, Rick Astley
A Rick
fan.
Astley fan.
We're
Um,
just like super into hair metal and had eyeliner and blush
Big
on
Def
all
Leppard
the
listener.
time.
dude, that would be based then if that was the case. Pour some sugar on me, baby.
In the name of
Uh,
love.
the so yeah, we've talked about plenty how yeah the game was not not commercially received as well as it should have, and every refrain from every creator and reviewer is like, please give this, just begging, please give
Yeah.
this game a chance.
If you
I
guys don't give this game a chance, they'll stop making games like this, and it will only get worse. Please.
like, you guys don't like Marvel's Avengers, and so you're going to take it out on a game that is definitely not like Marvel's Avengers,
Oh God.
so that we're just going to get more Marvel's
Marvel.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck.
that's what your reality is going to
Oh,
be.
don't you know? We got Marvel's Overwatch.
Oh
So much
God.
better.
So the game was, again, critically very well received, except for the Nintendo Switch port, because that was like a
I
cloud.
didn't even realize.
Yeah,
they
because
had
it was the cloud
Dude,
streaming version.
anytime it's
There it
a
is.
cloud only on the Switch, it doesn't exist.
Well,
It's
dude,
not
that would
real.
explode the Switch.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the first frame would be like, again, you would be watching a slideshow and then it would explode.
Just bursts into flames.
It's still astounding to me that you can actually do a cloud stream to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, they have I think like the Kingdom Hearts collection is cloud streaming, which is funny because that's just a PS2 game. Like they can definitely make that
Yeah, they
work
can
if
put
they
that
really
in.
wanted to.
But as Kingdom Hearts deserves, they don't want to.
No, as
Um,
Kingdom Hearts deserves, it has to be esoteric in some way.
yeah,
And the only way to play is like a
inaccessible.
cloud
Yeah,
account from Japan only.
you must have a VPN.
You must be a fully naturalized Japanese citizen.
I this yeah did not make a whole lot of money from what I understood.
No,
Um,
it was the beginning of the Eidos Montreal downfall.
Yes, it was.
and yeah, it happened like right before the sale to Embracer, and so people were like, yeah, like we gotta support this game, like we really want a sequel. And like, now seeing the trajectory of Eidos Montreal, I'm like,
We really want a sequel, do we?
that's never
Do
gonna
we?
it's never gonna happen.
No.
So, these people were the, Eidos Montreal are the Deus Ex people, and they had a Deus Ex game in the works, and Embracer killed that in its cradle. So
Oh, they
there's
embraced it to death. They just hugged
they
it and
smothered
just
it.
kept
Yeah.
squeezing.
Smothered it in love.
Smother me in gravy, you big dirty man. I don't think there's any chance of there being a sequel to this.
No.
No.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I don't
I
mean that in
agree.
like a selfish way, but like I kind of like when a game is just a game that you play and it's over and it's done and it meant something and it's, like you move on.
Did they do the movie thing though? Did they do a post-credit teaser though? Because I don't remember there being sequel bait for it.
I don't
So
think
like,
there was.
I don't think there was.
like, this can be just a self-contained good story that will remain untarnished by any substandard
Tarnished?
money grab coming somewhere down the line. So
Yeah, I don't think so. Unless I completely missed it. I don't remember.
I mean,
remember
you
it
kind of
being-
have to like not to be rude in a way, but you kind of have to think the devs might have known at least a little bit. Like things weren't looking great going on, or that like Square was looking to get rid of them, or like unhappy with their performance. So maybe they were like, oh, maybe we don't, end the game before the resolution, and set it up so that the real resolution will be in the sequel.
the game
Imagine if the game just ended when Adam Warlock came out. And you had to
next time on Dragon Ball Z. I didn't remember, because it was probably just before I started actually paying attention to these type of things. So it won Best Narrative at the Game Awards. Was nominated for a couple others, including innovation and accessibility, and that's something I had forgotten until I had like kind of was reviewing for this episode, and that like it did a whole lot of accessibility things, both in terms of it had a lot. I mean, particularly on PC, it's only on PC. You had like a lot of you had a lot of graphical options. You could really go to town there, but then you've got like a really extensive difficulty selection tools. Like you have your presets, but like those are just, collections of
You
these
can
different
adjust
choices that
in the presets like
you can tweak a whole
health,
lot.
yeah, enemy health value and
Damage
Oh,
received,
that's cool.
damage
I didn't
dealt, all
realize it
that
got
stuff.
that. I didn't realize you could go that
Yeah,
in depth with it.
tons
Yeah,
of shit in
it's
there.
pretty robust in that sense. It won best score, or no, it was nominated for best score in music, best action adventure. It won a couple things at the Dice Awards, which is cool.
I mean, like best narrative at the Game Awards is a pretty substantial award, in my opinion.
Oh, that's an achievement for sure. That's definitely the the pride of this game, right? Like that. I don't think that they were going to win
Hmm.
things for the gameplay, because while again I will defend it and say that it was good, it wasn't anything like, truly innovative. It did win again at the Dice Awards Adventure Game of the Year, so that's one thing. Um, but yeah, you just come back to the did not meet our sales expectations. Yet had 8 million players. However, it was also a Game Pass game. So
And given away
yeah.
free
It,
with NVIDIA GPUs.
so could
one of the hardest things is when you've got a game that has been given away for free, thrown on subscription services that aren't free but might as well be like considered free if you pay for it all the time anyway. Uh, is like you don't really get a great grasp of sales numbers because they always do that bullshit like X amount of players at launch or like peak player count.
they Square has claimed that it is those sales, as well as the deals from the subscription services that did help stabilize the earnings from it. But at some point, like, yeah, I don't think it was a day one Game Pass game.
No.
So like this, wasn't the risk of, cannibalizing sales that way. So it's like that's perhaps the best way to approach that. It's like, yeah, at some point it's gonna sell the copies it's gonna sell, and then get the check for the for the streaming deals, or the service deals and whatever, and you're at least breaking even.
Yeah, I saw it says 8 million players, which isn't.
Which is good, but maybe
Yeah,
not,
it's not enormous,
it's,
but
it's not Marvel good.
right.
It's like that's the expectation. That's,
Well,
I
that's
think, part of the figuring of where their unreasonable expectation comes in, is that
Mhm.
this is a Marvel
Yeah.
property. It should be in the 10, 15 plus at the least.
I texted you earlier about it,
Yeah.
Ben, but like the Black Myth Wukong community has been like slowly building themselves up for failure. As I've been seeing discussion where it's like people are hoping that it's going to be like a Baldur's Gate type situation this year, where it launches and you're going to see like a 15 plus million sales, for a first time game from a company we've never heard of before.
Okay. I mean, sure. I hope
Um,
for I hope for their success.
Well,
And
of course, but it's like
I
it's
hope
one
it
of those
is
like
not
if you
Golem.
if you look at it from a real standpoint, it's like
Golem.
first time for a game studio. If they sell 5 million copies, that's a massive
that's
success.
great. That's great for
Mhm.
them.
Like,
Yeah.
that is a huge opening for them. Like,
And it's not like
don't set
Larian was
yourself up for failure by hoping for 3 times what a good ceiling would be.
yeah. Um So yeah, this one is it remains I still think an underappreciated gem that people should be checking out and should be appreciating. The one, I guess, major downside to it is that, like, games like these don't have as much replayability. That's less of a concern for someone like me who doesn't tend to do that anyways. Um,
Yeah, the only replayability is just going back through to get the other like options throughout the story.
yeah, and it's like you run the risk of like
It's fairly static.
even further away from me, like like that if I a couple years from now I'm like, oh, maybe I would like to give that another go, like get an itch for the combat again. It's like the problem of like the strength of the game is its story. Yet all the major turns in the story, I do remember that. You know, I do remember that she's not actually his kid. So like that's a huge bit that kind of pushes you forward that isn't there anymore. So
This game began pushing the women be lying narrative.
yeah, dude, she strung him along so conveniently and then dies.
And then dies.
Women do be loving to foist their war orphan adopted children upon you. That's their second favorite thing to do after shopping. They be doing both of them. Am I
You'd be
right?
surprised.
Am I right,
It's happened
folks?
to me. If I had a nickel for every time it happened, I'd have two of them, which is not a lot, but it's weirdly how often it happens.
Any final thoughts here as we wrap up today? I enjoy this game. I'll recommend it to anybody who's never played it, that they should absolutely go out and play it. Either you can get it on some of these subscription services that you may already pay
It
for,
goes on sale
or
super cheap all the time.
yeah, so it's an easy pickup, an easy recommend for sure, and
No doubt.
as well as like that, I do it gets points for me in that like it embraces comrade Cosmo and does not try to push any anti-communist rhetoric
Goddamn right.
that
Agreed.
upon the poor dog. Uh,
He shows up and he's the actual villain.
yeah, if this game was made like 15 years earlier, it would be. That would happen.
He would show up and give you a mission choice, and the mission choice is just says no Russian.
You must put your political enemies in gulag. They must be re-educated. All right, so yeah, final thoughts from you guys. Anything else you want to add?
This
Anything
is
you may not have talked about.
nothing. No, nothing. Just to reiterate, this is a great single player action adventure video game.
Not very long, doesn't overstay its welcome, gives you a
It's
good
like
little story.
sub
Will
20
probably become
hours.
canonized in the MCU in 20 years when they've run out of ideas.
It's like a sub 20-hour game, which is like perfect for me. I love that.
Good
Yeah.
palate cleansing game.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. I need more of those type of games to be able to bridge the gap between some of the longer things like in my backlog. Like I knew it was still the right decision to make because it's the most free time I think I'll have throughout the rest of the year. But like doing 200+ hour JRPGs back to back
Oh,
has been tough.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no, it's
Again, I still think I made the right decision to do it, and
they're different enough.
right, and the systems are totally different, so it's fine. But like, uh, I just like I need something else. I'm still going to be going to I think a JRPG next, but I think I'm going to be
Metaphor
playing.
Refantasio next.
Well, I will be playing that in November, but no, I think I'm going to play.
No, you got to play Astros.
I'm going
It's
to
the
play.
ultimate palate cleanser.
I could, but no, I think I'm going to. We talked about this the other day, man. I think I'm going to play Trials of Mana to get ready for Visions of Mana, because that's also like 20 hours.
I'll give you a
So
vision of my mana.
I am still I'm
Your
overdosing
mana is equal
on
to your
culture.
Riz. Your Riz equals 0. L/cope/ratio.
All right.
Roasted.
On that note, with Mike being obliterated,
Yeah.
let's wrap it here. Let's see. Next week, kind of check my
Oh God,
schedule,
do we have to
but
come up with another adaptation,
well, next week would be
a tabletop?
a tabletop. Well, we have two choices, and we'll talk about it later. But like, we've actually got 2 off weeks this month. That we can either do it next week or after the adaptation. And then yes, we have to come up with an adaptation. So
Let's
we
do
should
it after the adaptation.
the 24th. So it'll be the
Do it
24th.
after the adaptation, and I can try to use the Starfall or whatever it's called starter set that I have. Space Field. That's right. I'm just fucking up Starfield's
Do you mean the
name.
Starfinder? Do you mean
Yeah.
that the Pathfinder thing?
Yeah.
No, we're still finishing Call of Cthulhu. We've got at least
Oh,
one,
we
if
haven't
not
finished
two,
that yet.
two more.
I forgot that.
Probably two more. I don't know how long it's going to take you guys, but like at least another, if not two.
What
more.
if we interrogate a lamppost for 40 minutes?
Then, yeah, it will. It will take even longer. So I guess we'll be off next week, and then
well, I'd rather do the 10th to be for my end, just because the
All right,
24th I'm busy. But yeah, we can talk.
we'll talk
figure
about
it
it. We'll talk about it later. So no promises on what's next week. It's either nothing, you get
Yeah,
nothing,
you have no
or
fucking clue what's gonna happen.
or
We'll
yeah,
be
it'll
here
be
or we won't.
or it'll be Call of Cthulhu, and then an adaptation that is yet to be decided. Uh, so a lot of things up in
Persona
the air
5
at this
anime.
point. It does exist.
Near anime.
I think the Borderlands movies come out by then.
Oh my god,
Fucking.
that looks so bad.
I mean, if we're going for it, we
Terrible.
go for it.
Is that actually coming out then? Let me look it
It
up.
may already
Borderlands.
be out.
No,
it's not out
I've
yet.
seen some marketing pushes for it increasing, but like,
Yeah, August 9th.
ooh, okay, that would
We've
give
been out
us a week.
full week.
That's
That
it.
would
We're
give
doing
us-
it.
Ugh, okay. All right. So, Matt, you're committed. So yeah, we're committed to going.
I'm
to go
committing
see
us
that.
to it because that way we don't have to dig through the backlog and we don't have to be
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess we have to watch the Angry Birds movie or
We
Fine by me.
will watch the Angry Birds movie at some
I know
point.
it's inevitable, but like we have to save those. So when something new comes out, we'll topically talk about it. We'll get that SEO boost, baby.
Okay. All right.
People
so I
are gonna
guess
be like, yo, Borderlands came out. I'm looking for a top quality, review of the movie. They're gonna go straight to us.
and Andrew has played some of the Borderlands games, so
Mhm.
I've played a little bit of like the Tiny Tina expansion, not the full Wonderland game, but
Yeah, just the
that's
DLC
the
for
was it
the
the Dragon Keep thing? Is that what it's called?
yeah DLC for the second game, I think.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it and did not like it. So, yeah, okay.
Is
I
this the
guess
one that has like Kevin Hart playing Claptrap?
I don't think he's Claptrap, but he is
No,
in
Jack
it.
Black plays Claptrap. Jack Black's Claptrap.
But isn't like Claptrap the really kind of weird, skinny looking guy? That's definitely
It's the
not.
robot.
No,
Save it for
Claptrap's the
episode.
robot.
Okay, then I have no idea who is who.
Kevin Hart is in the movie as well.
Yes, no, I know
I
he's.
kind of just assumed that
okay,
they
I
were
see.
going to shove Kevin Hart inside of a robot puppet,
No. Nope.
make him ride like a
He's got too much.
unicycle the whole
He's got
time.
too much power now. He's
Yeah,
seen too many
yeah.
people do too many things to
Yeah.
be forced into it. The humiliation's
next
over
Cat
for him.
Into a
Williams.
voice
So
acting
we
role.
need to
yeah,
go
no.
back to putting small people into small boxes because they're the only ones who fit.
Trying to clear the reels that Mike has sent during recording, and just a Channing
woman.
Channing Tatum Gambit reel just immediately starts opening. So if that's why you hear the that in the background there, I apologize. I do want to see Deadpool and Wolverine exclusively to hear the Channing Tatum's Creole accent.
Louisiana accent.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it is so fucking absurd. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the absurdity is that he was ever like in the realm to
Oh
be a
yes.
Gambit. It's like we were ever at a
It's
point where
beautiful.
like, yo, Channing Tatum is such a good actor. We need to put him in like a primary like MCU X-Men like tier alpha mutant.
But it's purely played for laughs. Like that's the point.
Yes.
So
Yes, that's why it's perfect in Deadpool.
yeah, I do want to see it just for that. All right, folks. But that is the tentative roadmap for the rest of the month. And then next month, Andrew will be leading Cyberpunk for his game choice, which these two are playing through right now.
I chromed the fuck up last night, Choom. I have
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
I have pieces in every slot now.
Excellent. All right. All right. We will see you next time, whenever that is, in 1 or 2 weeks. Look forward
You
to
then,
it.
or we'll see you at another time.
Bye bye.